and welcome back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Rabin, and we're very glad that you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. We are seated with two teachers, two representatives of the Course in Miracles International, a group located out in Wisconsin. And they're doing a very profound work in this world. They're teaching us about love, overcoming fear, and accepting and dealing with forgiveness. In fact, they are sponsoring a Forgiveness Week very soon in this month of June that you all need to know about, because spiritual teachers from all over the world are gathering and are coming to share their wisdom, their love, their compassion with each other and with the world at large. So we're very glad to have these two, Sue Mayberry and Liberty, with us today. And they'll be speaking with us about the Forgiveness Week as well as A Course in Miracles, because we haven't yet done a show on the Course in Miracles, and it's high time that we do. Welcome you both.
Thank you.
So glad to have you.
Thank you, Mitchell.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Sue, if you would, just open up and give us some idea of what this great week has in store for us all.
Thank you, Mitchell. It's a wonderful opportunity to share with everyone about International Forgiveness Week, which is coming up in June 11th to the 17th. We're holding a wonderful event out in Wisconsin Dells, which is 3 hours north of Chicago. It's an opportunity and an invitation that's going out all around the world to healers, teachers, anyone that's interested in their own personal awakening and really, really interested in coming together for a moment of forgiveness.
Beautiful. And, of course, there's going to be a whole week of forgiveness, not just a moment.
Absolutely. Well, we only need a moment, but we've got a whole week there.
And what is the underlying idea? Is it to help spread the sense of forgiveness among everybody on the planet, just the people who are there? What would you say is the underlying concept of the week?
Well, we would like to think that it got extended worldwide, and opportunities like you've given us is a great opportunity to extend it worldwide. We're inviting people to come to the event to have an experience, but we're also extending it out worldwide so that people can pick up on the idea of International Forgiveness Week worldwide and hold their own events. Whatever they like to do is an opportunity.
In coordination.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that invitation is there.
We've been doing something like that for the past number of years with the United Nations in something called the Season for Nonviolence.
Absolutely.
And it's the same kind of thing, but that is focusing on nonviolence and peace. However, peace, forgiveness, they're really very next door to each other, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't have peace without forgiveness, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you mentioned the United Nations, because both Liberty and myself and a number of our colleagues from the Course in Miracles International attended the Millennium Peace Summit here in New York last year. Mm-hmm. And we're extending invitations out to all the spiritual leaders who were there. Liberty and I had an opportunity. We got an invitation to Japan, which came out of the Peace Summit, and that leads me perfectly into another part of the Forgiveness Week, which is an Atomic Veterans Reunion. We're actually including that as part of Forgiveness Week.
Could you tell us what that is?
Absolutely. Our teacher in Wisconsin was in Nagasaki.
Who is known by the name of...
He's known by the name of Master Teacher, and he is a Master Teacher.
Well, I had the great honor and delight of meeting just some months ago here at a Midtown hotel when we were gathered in his suite.
And he loved meeting you, and he's very excited about the fact that we're putting on this show today.
Wonderful. The feelings were truly mutual.
Thank you. Our master teacher was actually in Nagasaki in 1945 at the time of the bomb, and he was there as a young US Marine, and he had an experience. He stood in the devastation that occurred in Nagasaki, which Hiroshima is the same. It was literally the worst devastation that's ever occurred on the planet at one time, and he stood there in that devastation and had an experience as a young teenager, and he underwent an experience of forgiveness, which was really the beginning of his own spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. So this is a very personal assignment for him. It's also a personal assignment for me and for Liberty. We have strong attachment with Japan as well. So we're making an invitation to surviving members of the 6th Regiment that were involved in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and also extending it out. We've invited the mayor of Nagasaki and the mayor of Hiroshima, and we're really opening it up to Japanese veterans veterans just to come together and just let's forgive and forget, have an opportunity. It's a real healing event. It's an extremely healing event for the whole planet.
Just hearing that. That is very beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, that is very powerful. Mm-hmm. You know, what about inviting chiefs of staff from the Pentagon?
Well, absolutely.
That's a great idea, yes. We'll get right on that.
I mean, with the current president, I don't know how this would be received. But I will tell you that, and you ought to know that through a dear friend of mine, I've learned about some Native American ceremony that has taken place within the walls of the Pentagon, where Native Americans were brought in. I believe it was Hopi, Navajo, and they did sacred hoop ceremony. And there wasn't, she told me, a dry eye in the house. They were so moved by everything that happened, because it sounds funny, but you'll both understand. The biggest warrior really needs to be the most peaceful being. It's his job to prevent war, not to really wage it. Anyway, in that light and in that mode, I just put this out as part enrich what you're doing. It's just beautiful. I'm so glad. It's very grounded. It's a lofty idea brought to earth.
Absolutely.
God bless.
That's the whole purpose of it. Absolutely. And we'd like to obviously extend that out. I mean, the Japan thing is a personal assignment for all of us, but also extending it out to the Middle East at the moment. There's a lot of, there's a lot of people in pain on the planet, and healing is really, really required, and that's a large part of it. We really believe that simple love and forgiveness is the answer. The two of us sit down and join and have we call it a holy instant in the Course in Miracles, and it's a very, very special moment where we join, our minds join, we have an experience of light and love that transcends everything here. It's very special, and I've shared many a moment like that with you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. In fact, you're reminding me of part of the experience I had with Master Teacher in his presence in our small gathering that one fine evening, that one very sacred, special evening. It was a fine evening, thank you. And it was something that penetrated me, and I have been perusing the Course in Miracles off and on for many years, and yet I never had a totally cohesive idea of it, but this just hit me, of the simplicity and ease and importance and relevance, if you will, of forgiveness.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a conscious choice. I mean, everybody feels anger. Everybody feels disappointment. Everybody feels sadness. Everybody feels all of these very human emotions. And all of it, if one chooses, can be released by forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Am I on the line of the Course's course?
You are absolutely on the line. Thank you.
Speak to us, Liberty.
I want to give you one idea that you hit when you said that. This passion play, this idea of this world, is one repetition compulsion play. It is happening over and over again, and everyone is just getting sick and tired of it. Enough to want to forgive. And to love one another.
Enough.
So it is. You are
pushed to the brink.
Absolutely. You are literally caught in a compulsion.
Yes.
And with the inability to control, but look at your exquisite passion. Look at that emotion. Look at that energy that is charging you. All we've done in Wisconsin is have done is we've had enough. That's simply it. I guess we had a little more pain than we really wanted, and we just finally stood still. Somehow we were all called in together, and we came in from all over the world.
You had less patience.
Less patience. Are you kidding?
In a
more
good way.
anger.
Right.
Yes. More sorrow.
When patience is not a good thing. It's not a virtue.
That's right.
Excuse me.
And the beauty, I'm reminded of the book of Course in Miracles, which is a divine manuscript of the resurrected mind of Jesus Christ in current language. There's something about it that just blows the roof off. It's current language. It's English. It's written in all languages, and it contains all the teachings: Zen, Buddhism, quantum physics. It's a Course in Miracles. It is so exquisite. It's divine. It is literally whole thought.
It's a bit psychoanalytic as well.
It is psychoanalytic, but actually until you have the experience of it, and then the thoughts are just your own. So you're not even analyzing it. You're the experience of the thought itself. You're the direct contact. What makes it so easy is that it starts with God is the mind with which I think. So when you look at that premise, that fact actually, God is the mind with which I think, you are literally using the mind to judge. And God doesn't judge. So you're free to judge or not judge. And when you forgive yourself,
you have the freedom to do either.
Yes, absolutely. When you really do see that as just your mind, and God is the mind with which I am doing this with, it gets absurd. What begins to occur?
Like, this is what I want to do.
Right.
I want to judge my friends and my children.
And myself.
And myself. Right.
It's that repetition compulsion thing, you know? It turns around in an instant. What begins to occur is you discover all of the rage, all of the energy, all the passion with which is igniting within you is the awakening itself. It's the Kundalini arising. It's your resurrection, remembering that this was over a long time ago. And as you forgive yourself, that energy rises up and meets in your direct with reality. What you begin to see is whoever you've seen before, because this is happening over and over again, remember. And we'll go to the end of the chapter where you choose once again. You are literally seeing yourself. You are literally seeing the Christ, God in everything. And in that moment, it's really easy to forgive, especially when you take the statement that this was over a long time ago. Hey, you guys, this is just a dream. I mean, this is all one passion play, one dream.
Could you explain what you mean when you say it was over a long time ago?
Yes. I'll give you a simple idea. The 100th monkey, and we all know about that concept. When one discovered it, simultaneously, it hit across the board, and every mind got the very same idea. Well, the resurrection of Jesus Christ is that idea, because literally he went through the last useless journey, which was the idea that you would have to die to be in heaven. Resurrected.
The last
useless journey.
Oh, useless. Okay.
He calls it that himself. He says, as a man, I knew I wasn't real then. But he underwent the dream metamorphosis to reality and popped in on the other side, fully resurrected. And here is the words coming back to you presently saying, look, this was a dream, and it was over a long time ago. For those of you who find it difficult to forgive, let me give you this. We're standing at the end of the dream, at the end of time, because time is just an idea. And we have literally broken through. We found our way out. All the suffering is just a hallucination. In fact, look at how powerful our minds are. You are all the power of mind there is to retain the memory of any grievance, of anything that has occurred to you. You're also all the power there is to release it. Hallelujah, that's incredible. You are what enlightenment is. It's what everything innately is inside. God created you awake. So this really was a dream, and it was a dream of your own making, and it doesn't exist. That is good news. Now we have all these teachers that are coming into this who are literally being invited and called in. But what's really occurring is we've all agreed to do this out of time. We've met out of time before, We're agreeing to come into this final moment and celebrate. In the twinkling of an eye, this is all changed. It's changed through your acceptance of your own perfection, that you can't die, you don't have to die, no trials and tribulations are necessary, that you are literally perfection now, and you can love and forgive anyone and anything in the overness.
That you're doing what you're doing and accomplishing what you are on whatever levels you're doing it, clearly on many. You seem to be attracting such notable beings as Satya Sai Baba, who, as I told you earlier, as far as I know, has not left India physically, except for one time in this entire lifetime. So if he's going to be coming, of all places, to Wisconsin to celebrate with you, there's certainly something quite powerful going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, and that's very recent news that we heard of Sai Baba coming. We've just heard in the last 24 hours, and yeah, that's up to him. If he shows up, it'll be wonderful.
Oh, surely.
I have a beautiful connection with Sai Baba.
And it'll be beautiful if he doesn't.
It'd be beautiful if he doesn't. It'd be beautiful if you come.
That's right. And God knows it may be.
Absolutely. And we have extended the invitation. We've invited the Pope. I don't know if the Pope will come. We've invited the Dalai Lama's doing what he can. He's actually in the Midwest in the next week or two, and he's...
I know that. I just met his cellist just a few days ago, who showed me this glorious CD, Michael Fitzpatrick, that they put together called Compassion. In fact, it's a tribute to the relationship between, if I have this correctly, the Dalai Lama and the Christian mystic Thomas Merton. It's a very powerful piece. And I know he's going to be in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He was leaving for there, and God, Minnesota's right next to Wisconsin.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's a divine plan. We can't...
And New York is right next to
Yes, we're neighbors.
Chicago. It's the power of mind, Liberty.
That's right, absolutely.
It is the power of mind.
Who else is coming that you know of?
Well, as I mentioned, we're really focusing on the Japanese. We had an opportunity, Liberty and I, as I said, in November, to travel to Nagasaki, and we had an extraordinary experience of just being Shinto, Buddhist, Christian. There's something about my experience of being in Nagasaki that the people that live there now, they're all part of the experience of that devastation that occurred there. And I speak of Hiroshima, obviously we weren't there, but just standing in Nagasaki as a true place of forgiveness is an extraordinary experience. It's like one of the things Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, that the holiest spot on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. And to me, that was a large essence of what I felt in Nagasaki. So we're inviting everyone that we met from Nagasaki and all our contacts in Japan. So that's a very strong part of it. We've got musicians coming. We've got gospel choirs. We'll have Christian, every religion. We're just inviting everyone, all their different. It's really a celebration, as Liberty just said. It's a celebration. We're just enjoying being together because it's time to put bygones be bygones. It's just to let the grudges go and come and share and be together in that celebration.
Exactly. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You may want to give a call to Reverend Michael Beckworth of Agape.
Absolutely. I've been to Agape. Yep.
Brilliant. And so deeply and highly spiritual. But the Agape choir is incredible.
Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder. Yes, we visited Agape just after the Peace Summit and had an extraordinary experience there. They're very beautiful people. So yes, we're inviting everyone. We don't know who'll show up.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's a gathering of awakened masters. It's a gathering of those that are really do want to wake up out of a dream and experience the reality that's all around you here and right now.
Well, people will be doing that and have been doing that all over the world wherever they are physically.
Absolutely.
That's secondary to the larger picture. Yeah. But that you can gather forces in the physical, in one place, in the rolling hills of Wisconsin. Why not?
Absolutely.
I think it's very powerful. It's very powerful.
Well, Chicago's one of the biggest international airports in the world, so perhaps it is the centre point.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's sort of like in the bosom of America, in a way, so I think. So, of all places, the bosom of America is representative, of course, of the feminine, which brings heart and reminds us of the notion of love and forgiveness. So somehow all is perfect and in order, huh? I would never have thought of Wisconsin myself, but since you did,
Really, I didn't either.
You know what?
In Hawaii, and I came.
Oh God!
But that was just it. It was just because it was
from
such a
fish to cows, huh?
That's right. That little farmland.
Yeah. But you know what? You just reminded me of something, which is the Dalai Lama held the first major, highest of high initiations of Tibetan Buddhism in Wisconsin, of all places, 21 years ago. I happen to remember, it's called the Kala Chakra Initiation. And that means the wheel of time.
Yes.
And of course it means, needless to say, the deliverance from time as we know it, perceive it, etc.
Oh, that's what we're
So I'm just putting that out because there could be some very interesting, timely synchronicity here
Absolutely.
that is calling us and
Yes.
calling him and calling
Oh, yes.
people of a certain ilk,
Yes.
certain level together.
There are other
Absolutely.
prophecies
Yeah.
that have come in. A lot of prophecies have called that. The Brazilians mentioned that they had Wisconsin in their prophecy. So I'm, you know,
Surprise,
I'm
surprise.
amazed. But it's
How do
there.
you say Wisconsin in Portuguese?
Let's see.
That's hard to believe. That's wild.
Poppies, I mean, it's coming in. It's flooding
That
in.
is
But you know,
powerful.
I guess that's where I want to go to power one more time.
Yeah.
When you make it's a dream, and when you open to yourself and to the truth, that's how it files in.
Truly.
Everything supports you
Yeah.
in your need for the truth and for love and forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes in and reveals itself because everyone and everything is a part of you and wants to be, and in your remembrance, everything is remembering with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything energetically supports
Yes.
by nature.
Absolutely.
Literally by nature. That's the rub, in a sense. It's all so simple, isn't it? Once at that moment, everything supports that beingness, that quality,
Yes.
Could you speak a little bit, Liberty, about the nature and quality of the Course in Miracles for those
Yes.
people of our audience who might not know about it or
Okay.
they've just heard about it?
Sure.
What do you think they ought to know about it?
Okay, A Course in Miracles is your opening to your own direct contact to yourself or to reality or to God, whatever you want to call that. And if I could put it simply, I would say with your car you have a manual and you usually put it in your glove compartment. A Course in Miracles contains no doctrine, and yet it's your own manual. So in it there's a text. There is an active workbook for application, like a daily application. And what I love most about it is it's practical. You open to where you find yourself and you include everything in your application, and it sets the day for you. And last but not least, there's a teacher's manual, because you are a teacher of God. Everyone is a teacher of God, and it contains a teacher's manual. It's lovely. So you're teaching all the time. So what are you teaching? Well, you're teaching love and forgiveness.
What else is worth teaching?
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful,
It's
That's
a
great.
teaching.
Thank you,
It's a
Liberty.
teaching of one problem, one solution, and that's why we're coming together to share in a total solution.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm the
Well
problem.
put.
God's the solution. Time to give myself up.
It's funny. It's funny. Well, seeing yourself as separate,
Absolutely. The
that's
idea of
the problem. It's not
separation,
you.
absolutely.
Don't make it so personal. But it's this idea that you have of yourself as separate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Thank you.
Yeah. For me, one of the key points in my familiarity with the Course is this idea of dealing with fear and letting it go, and that creates the whole fear-based mentality and reality causes a total perversion of the way life really is. And it's, to translate it into another culture, it's operating from a lower chakra, or the reptilian brain, if you will. That's all flight or flight, and it's not dealing with our higher nature. And to me, the Course is very much all to our higher nature, to be our, as you may say, true selves, our real godly, divine selves.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Which is who you are.
Indeed, indeed, that we have lost. So we just lost track. And when one connects to the mind as God, as you were saying before, Liberty, it's so powerful because you realize the choice is really ours. But we live so away from that reality. It's like, so we live like a victim and we live like all this other stuff. In our closing, my pleasure.
That's nice. Thank you. That's beautiful.
In our,
Sure, he's gorgeous.
you just took me home.
I
Thank
have
you.
been studying many a lifetime. Now, in the closing moments, would you just tell us a little bit about the Forgiveness Weekend week again, and just invite everybody? And
You're invited, June 11th to 17th, Wisconsin Dells, the bosom of America. Just be there. It's going to be an extraordinary event. It stands to be the largest quantum healing event ever occurred on the planet.
Beautiful.
If you're going to come, contact us and we'll put you on the list along with the Dalai Lama, Sai Baba, because you're all master teachers.
Absolutely.
And you're all teachers of God, so you check the list. You'll be on it, all right?
You'll see your name.
You're all invited.
Right? Look for
And
Mitchell.
all war veterans, all of those are invited,
Thank
not
you.
just Second World. The Vietnam war veterans are coming. All of you
Beautiful.
are invited. Please do come. We'd love to see you. There'll be a lot of dancing and celebration.
Wonderful.
And healing. Thank you.
And enjoyment
And
of Master Teacher.
Absolutely, of course.
Hey.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Master Teacher.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you
That
both
was incredible.
for being on.
Thank you.
We so much appreciate your being on the show. Really beautiful.
It's
Really
a, it's a real treat
It's a
for
real
us, thank you.
That is
And thank all of you too. God bless
Thank
us,
you.
everyone.
Beautiful.
So now you know and have a true taste of something called the Course in Miracles. Hope you can come out to Wisconsin. I'm now going to look at my itinerary and see what I can do. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
and I look
you.
forward to seeing you all next week.